Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. A few weeks ago we learnt the very sad news that actress Helen McCrory passed away due to cancer. And so in fitting tribute I decided to review the Doctor Who episode The Vampires of Venice, originally broadcast 11 years ago this month on BBC One in May 2010. Just in case you don't know the plot, due to the events that happened in the previous episode, the 11th Doctor has decided to take Amy and Rory on a romantic trip to Venice in 1580. However, there are some vampire-like aliens who are kidnapping the local population as part of their evil scheme to restore their own race. Let's talk about Helen McCrory. She did a fantastic job as the villainess Rosanna, and I loved her confrontation with the 11th Doctor. They just sparked off each other so well when they had that first confrontation, and I liked that we saw the 11th Doctor's take on this plan and his own dealings with the fall of Gallifrey. We haven't seen that so far in season 5 of Doctor Who. Like I said, they did spark off so well. Helen is perhaps most famous for her roles in the Harry Potter movies as well as on TV in Peaky Blinders, but she had such a versatile career on stage and screen and very much well loved and respected by fellow actors and actresses. She is going to be very sadly missed and my heart goes out to her family in this tragic time. She was also one of the founding members of the charity Feed the NHS, a very worthy cause in which they helped feed NHS workers and hospital workers, especially during this global pandemic. I think that's such a worthy cause. If you wanted to have a look at that website, I'll put the link in the description below, and if you want to check out yourself, have a look after this review on feedthenhs.com. Back to this review, and I loved the humour in this episode. It was written by Toby Whithouse, who wrote School Reunion, so it does have the similar beats, but again the humour is so funny, and I loved the banter between the Doctor and Rory especially, and with the Doctor bursting out of the cake during Rory's stag do and just blurting out all the wrong things. Just great stuff to watch, really. And yeah, everyone had a good crack at the humour in there in just various ways through dialogue, and again some visual comedy with Matt Smith especially, and Amy as well. I liked that they were geeking out at the alien vampires as well. Just little things like that just really enhanced this episode. I also liked the effects for this episode. I thought the aliens looked quite good, especially for BBC effects, and with it being 11 years old now, I thought it would look probably a little bit more dated, but no, still holds up. And also the effects using the Venice scenery as well. That's the one that really stood out for me the most in a good way for this episode. The scenery looked great with all the water and just the surrounding land as well, with all the gondolas and everything else. Obviously, BBC are great with costumes, so this really complemented this episode really well. I'm going to give The Vampires of Venice a TARDIS rating of 7.5 out of 10. It has some really good humour in this episode, both in terms of visual and scripted comedy. Really good acting by the entire cast in this episode, especially Helen McCrory, and some really good effects in terms of the aliens and the scenery that I mentioned earlier, especially with the teeth as well with the vampires. It looked quite scary, actually, to be fair, and probably one of the scariest vampires that we've seen for a while, especially when you compare it to, at the time, Twilight saga. It does follow a similar formula to School Reunion, but it worked in that episode and it works in this episode. I would also say this is an overlooked story, but to be fair, season 5 does have some strong episodes like Vincent and the Doctor, but Vampires of Venice, still worth checking out. You can do now on BBC iPlayer and HBO Max. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on The Vampires of Venice and your thoughts on actress Helen McCrory. What was your favourite performance from Helen McCrory, whether it be from this episode of Doctor Who or any of her work from either Peaky Blinders, Harry Potter, any of her work from stage and screen? I would love to read those comments. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, I will be reviewing the 12th Doctor episode, Heaven Sent. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out in the description below the link to the charity Feed the NHS, or check out the website feedthenhs.com. It's a very worthy charity, definitely worth checking out. And as the good doctor once said, funny how you say something in your head and it sounds fine.